Well, is that one time a year again where, of course, New Japan Pro Wrestling brings in wrestlers from Mexico for the annual Fantastic Mania. As you know, Japanese fan base loves seeing Lucha Libre in their own backyard. I think it's really fun. I enjoyed it, but we also going to see some mixture of wrestlers from Japan and Mexico teaming up. So this is our only review we're going to be doing, but we're also going to do some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as the promotions, what events they're throwing out, who's booked, what matches are set, and of course, other developments have been happening in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be talked about and be told about. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to the Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is a channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world where pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to get our hands on. We also do more news updates. If I'm unable to put it on this episode, I can put it on a separate video by itself. We also do real timing news updates as we hear things that's been going on in the world of pro wrestling. We also do the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool things as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool stuff on this channel as well. So if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, this is our only review we're going to do for today, so this is what we have. As you know, every year we have New Japan Pro Wrestling teaming up with the guys from CMLL with Fantastica Mania. We see combinations of wrestlers from Mexico and Japan either team up or they go Mexico versus Japan, however you want to do it. So I think this is a real fun show. I enjoy it every time I watch it. Now, our first match, we have Bullet Club, consisting of Ghetto and Bone Soldier Jr. Now, this is not Taiji Shimori's son. This is from the original Bone Soldier. If you guys remember, there was another Bone Soldier that was involved, known as uh, something involved with New Japan. But, however, they face against Doiki and Defunto. Defunto is a third generation wrestler. He kind of reminds me a little bit of the Espanto family, which is Antonio Pena's family, who are wrestlers. I don't know if he's related to that, but he has the gimmick. I thought it was a pretty interesting thing, not to mention Doki to team up with someone else. But one thing that was, of course, fun is seeing how this was going to be there. They ended this with a double submission. Doki was doing the Doki Choki on Ghetto, and I forgot what Defunto is doing, but they picked up a fantastic win. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Defunto and Doki team up for either like Super Junior Tag League that's coming later on this year or something like that. But we'll see how that rolls up. Now, our next match is a lightning match. It's kind of like a high speed, but much faster pace. We have Magnus versus Tiger Mask. Now, at some point of this match, Magnus was becoming disrespectful towards Tiger Mask, I think it's because people know that Tiger Mask is a legend, that someone has to put him out of his misery, that sort of thing. And Magnus thought he would do it, but however, the match didn't go exactly like he would have hoped for because this match ended in a time limit draw, which of course is disappointing. But during the post match, Magnus decided to attack Tiger Mask, then disrespecting him by removing him. I wouldn't be surprised throughout this entire tour of Fantastic Mania that Tiger Mask would want to have his head or take off his mask or whatever he's going to do. So sooner or later, Tiger Mask will get his revenge. Now, our next match, we have Brillante Jr. to Ryusuke Taguchi, Stigma, and El Desperado taking on Kamitachi, and he teams up with LIJ's Bushi, Tetsuya Naito, and Titan. Now, here's an interesting fact from what Walker said about this guy named Kamitaichi. It turns out that this guy has a gimmick that is similar to our favorite junior heavyweight champion and one of the most favorite wrestlers from LIJ. We're talking about Hirmu. Hirmu said he doesn't know what is going on, why someone have the same gimmick as him, but he doesn't get it. He doesn't know what's going on. But however, the match was pretty well done. I think it was very interesting. But however, this match ended with, of course, when they were picking on Taguchi, who doesn't he was wearing a mask, but Kamitachi actually used that into his advantage to make him act like he still lost his mask, but he did roll him up to pick up the win, even though we all know what Taguchi looks like underneath the mask. Next up, we have Okumura. He teams up with Strong Machine J from Dragon Gate and Yo, and they take on Tomoaki Hamna, Dark Panther, and Pegasus. Now, Okumura, if you guys don't know who he is, he's a Japanese wrestler who's been living in Mexico. He's been in charge of wrestlers coming in from New Japan, and they go to his way. But Okumura teams up with Strong J and the Strong Super Machine J and Yo. But I am familiarized with Dark Panther. He is a second generation wrestler. He and his brothers are part of the Panther family, so that explains it. And Pegaso, I remember him from an amazing high flyer from AAA, but he's been in CML for many years. He has cut down on the high flying, but now uses crown work, and I thought it was very impressive this one. But in the end, it was, of course, Okumura with a cutter on Pegasus that pick up the win. I was like, wow, pretty good. I like it. I think this is one of my favorite matches of the night. Next up, we got Rocky Romero, Soberano Jr., and Hechicero. They take on Volador Jr., Templado, and Atlantis Jr. Now, we we know that there's a rivalry between both Rocky Romero and Volador Jr. That's no secret. They have always been trying to outdo each other. But um, it's kind of interesting that their feud goes all the way from Mexico to Japan or anywhere in the world. That's pretty much what we've always seen. But it was, of course, Rocky with the Sunset Drive onto Volador that, that picked up the win. Now, our main event, we have Francisco Akira. He teams up with Snuka Jr., Ultimo Guerrero. They take on Hiroshi Tanahashi, or as they call him in Mexico, El Presidente, which means the president, since we know he's the president of New Japan. Uh, Máscara Dorada, and of course, their ace in CMLL, Místico. Now, of course, there has been a rivalry between Místico and Ultimo Guerrero in the past. That is no secret either. But I thought the match was fantastic. Not to mention seeing Tanahashi, who's the ace of New Japan, teams up with the ace of CML. He faces another. They team up with the future ace of CML, Mascara Dorada, and I thought it was a fantastic match. But it was Mascara Dorada with a shooting star press on Ultimo Guerrero to pick up the win. I thought fantastic. Can't wait to see what other when the upcoming events for this tour. We do have some female wrestlers from Mexico coming for Fantastica Mania, so stand by for that. We'll see how that rolls up. I think that's pretty much it right now for this. So let's move on with some news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. Now let's begin with the promotions, but the ones with the most updates is GCW. So let's start. For their Touch the Sky event that will be happening later on this month on the 23rd of February, the Bollywood Boys make their return to GCW, which is going to be a lot of fun. However, a match has been announced for that particular show that will take place in Dallas for Touch the Sky. It's Pagano versus the Duke of Hardcore, John Wayne Murdoch. So that's going to be a lot of interesting. I think they might have faced each other in Mexico, but I'm not sure. Uh, we'll see. But anyway, moving on. On March 1st of 2024, Project GCW, it was announced that Masha Slamovich will face off Eric Cannon. Now, I think I might have seen this guy in AAW, which is the promotion based out of Chicago. So, yes. And then, of course, later, the following day, on the 2nd of March, we have Keep in Touch. The Southern Psycho takes on Nate Spider Webb. That's gonna, as you know, Nate uh, Webb will be celebrating 25 years of his career. I have a feeling that Mance Warner is going to ruin that as much as possible. And then finally, as you know, for their Philly shows taking place during WrestleMania week, they announced for Bloodsport 10, of course, produced by Josh Barnett. This is something that I've already talked about and has already been said. Fuminori Abe and, of course, his tag partner Takuya Nomura will be facing off each other. And this is going to be a very interesting match. What many of you, if you haven't seen that, you got to check it out. I know I've seen it, but I haven't reviewed it. I may review it at some point during a special episode or possibly the podcast, but we'll see. Now, as you know, later on the 15th of February, Noah will have their upcoming show, Limit Break 1. They announced a tag match. We have Go Shiozaki. He teams up with Asushi Kodoge. They face off against Yuji Nagata, Blue Justice, and of course, Jun Akiyama. So that's going to be a very interesting match to watch. And then, of course, it was announced that we're going to have a student versus mentor match. Hiroki faces against his own mentor, Taka Michinoku. So this is going to be a test for Hiroki to see how much he has grown since then. Now, in MLW, and on the 29th of February, Selena Duranta represents Star Jr., while Caesar Duran brings in Magnus. So basically, the war between them still continues on. RevPro has announced that they will be making their debut in Spain, or as we say in Spanish, España. And this will take place on April 13th in Barcelona. They even announced who will be participating in this particular event. They announced the Young Blood, consistent of Oscar Lobe and Yuto Nakashima, involved for this one. So this is going to be a lot of fun. Now I cannot recall if RevPro has ever done shows out of the UK, but if they haven't, then this is going to be fun. Now Prestige Wrestling has announced for the Roseland 8 on the 14th of February. On the 14th of February, first time ever, Daniel Makabe takes on Zack Sabre Jr. So that's going to be a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. And then finally, House of Glory make their way to Boston on May 25th at the UTEC at Lowell, Massachusetts. Can't pronounce it. It's been a long time. But yeah, so those are what's been happening with the promotions. But right now, let's talk about other developments that have been happening. Now, Dave Meltzer reports that Rocky Romero, he is not part of the AEW front office. This is good news. Now we know that Tony Khan and Rocky Romero have talked over back and forth about bringing talent from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I feel like he's the liaison that could help them bring that talent. I mean, if they were gonna do something like this, he will be that guy to do that. Hechicero, as you know, recently has called out Zack Sabre Jr. So it turns out that they have some unfinished business that went back all the way to 2008 in Pro Wrestling Gorilla. So the obvious question was going to be, where's this going to take it? Is it going to be in Japan or in Mexico? Who knows? But we'll see. Now, Hechicero is not the only CMLL talent that's calling out big names, members of that promotion. Zondaka Jr., Hijo de Villano Tres, and his brother Villano Tres Jr. calling out the BCC, the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know if I would be surprised if the BCC make their way to Mexico to beat them up. Who knows? We don't know, but I would love to see wherever this is going to lead to. Now, female wrestler Viva Van, as you know, recently graduated from the New Japan Academy. She is deciding where to go in wrestling in Japan, either in Tokyo Yoshi Pro or Stardom. So basically, she cannot decide. If you guys are unfamiliarized with her, Viva Van is a Vietnamese wrestler. Well, I think she was born or raised here in the U.S. Her family's originally from Vietnam. She was even inducted into the Vietnam Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame, and now she is looking to decide where to go next. Now we know she has made an appearance in Tokyo Show Pro Wrestling recently. Um, don't know about Stardom, but I'm sure that many Stardom fans will love to see her there. What do you guys think? You guys tell me. Now, there has been announced that there is no AEW Collision this coming Saturday due to the fact of an NBA All Star. So, what a bummer. Um, Zack Sabre Jr. talked about, recently about his retirement. He even said about wanting to stay with New Japan. So let me pull that up for all of you. Uh, Here it is. He said this during Tokyo Sports. I will continue to dedicate my life to this sport, and I will be New Japan's pro wrestling every day until the day I suddenly disappear. Every time a billionaire is born in the U.S., I'm no more determined to be here. I'm not interested in money. I'm interested in wrestling. I'm going to win the IWGP World Heavyweight title this year and change the world professional wrestling. So basically, he wants to do this. So that's his goal. So I say he has to go for it now. So we'll see where that leads us from there on. Let's see what else, what other developments we have. Oh yeah, Tokyo Pro Wrestling has announced for their upcoming Philly show later on in April. There's going to be a meet and greet after the two shows have been announced. Tokyo Pro Wrestling live in Philly and GCW versus TJPW. Currently, they're arranging the time and the venue. There'll be more to be announced. They already announced Billy Starks would be there. There's still no announcement who else is going to be there. So stand by for that. Rei Sato, if you guys remember, a member of the Saito brothers, has announced that he dislocated his right shoulder joint and apparently he's going to be out of action. Unfortunately, he will be unable to compete against Katsuhiko Nakajima for the Triple Crown Championship. He will be replaced by his brother Jun. However, it was also revealed that both Jun and Rei Saito had to relinquish their tag belts, the World Tag Team titles, and I'm going to presume possibly the G Infinity tag titles from GLEAT. So we could see that happen. Haven't heard anything from GLEAT just yet. If I haven't, then I'm missing out. But I think that's pretty much it. Now, I saved this one for last because you may or may not have been hearing what's been going on. Ever since the announcement of Rossy Ogawa being fired from Stardom, there's a lot of talk about what the situation has been. Um, it turns out that Mayu Iwatani has been devastating and crying over this matter, and she even tried to write some tweets about this. Unfortunately, Bushi Road has called her and they told her to delete those tweets. And I think I know what some of you are saying, that that's a load of horse crap coming from them to do that to Mayu. But I think there are those who are fear of what transpired with Julia. If you guys remember, I mentioned this on the discussion. Julia defied Bushiroad because she refuses to wrestle against Mayuhiki, and there are those who are saying that they're worried about Mayu could be losing the IWGP Women's Title. But however, she did right now saying that she is focused on that match at the matter. But the reason she's like this is because you got to remember, Rossi Ogawa, she's indebted to him for everything he's done for her, making her become the icon of Stardom. He was like a father figure for her. She did mention in a documentary that her dad died very young with a brain aneurysm, whatever they call that. But it was devastating. So she owed a lot to Grassi, and I'm sure that's gonna be a difficult thing for her not having him around. So I think it's a little crap for Bushiroad not letting her express her feelings towards Rossi. It's like they want Ross to be erased from existence, that he's no longer with Stardom. But some people will not forget the kind of man he is. But that's what's going to happen. So I think that's what we have for now. If there's any news going on regarding Ogawa with his upcoming promotion, I will be throwing that as well. But for now, let's just call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, I will be doing Tuesday wrestling as well. We will hopefully have NXT. I don't know about the NWA or any other events. However, if this is just NXT and all this other stuff, then I'll do it by itself. However, I will be doing another Unagi Sayaka watch, revealing upcoming stuff that she has put, upcoming events, recent matches she was involved, and that sort of thing. And also, we'll be doing another special episode. This one is all about the Evolution Girls, a Japanese Yoshi promotion or project that started up by Suwama and Shuji Ishikawa. So we'll get to all of that at some point. But for right now, this is what I'm doing for all of you. So we'll see you guys in the next DWZ time, same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye, and have a nice day. Bang.